All right, guys, I want to thank everybody for coming out and participating today in what we're calling 2012 Thinking Forward live chat series. And basically, this is being brought to you guys by Dymo and Disha, and this is the first of a series of special calls that we'll be doing live. We're playing around with new technology to make sure the thing works. So if you get a little bit of, stutter or something like that, feel free to let me know about it. There's a chat box over to should be on your right, I believe, on the Ustream screen. But go ahead and let us know if there's any problems or whatever. But hopefully this is working right now, Hopefully we got people out there and it's working. I think it's working. We've tested it enough. But at any rate, to do this, of course, you have to be logged in with either Facebook, Twitter, the Google Stream, or the Ustream, which we just talked about. And take a moment and just go out there and make sure you know how to submit questions. Because I'm going to take any of your questions right here live. And the subject matter, I guess, is how to find your customers in social media. So I've got a couple of questions in the can that I can start off with until we actually get some live questions. And once we get some live questions, we'll be able to address your issues in a nice way. So this, like I said, is the first of a series of 6 different chats that we're going to do. And 3 of them will be hosted by myself. The other 3 are going to be hosted by e-commerce maven, the queen of e-commerce in my world, definitely, Miss Marsha Collier. So you want to check her out on the next one. And I think we're just going to go back and forth with these for Dymo and Disha. So it's going to be really, really fun. And you're going to really get some information for e-commerce. Okay, so I got one question that I'm going to make quick, I'm going to deal with this one quick. This question came in from Paula, and Paula asked, one question I have is, do you know, so she's asking me, right, do you know where I could find a list of wedding-related social networking sites? No. Actually, I'm being funny, but really, if you want to know that information, you're going to have to do the research. My suggestion is to start with Google. I mean, just really start with Google and look up social sites for weddings and see what comes up. I know that one of the hottest social sites for items like weddings and doing, event parties and things like that, definitely you want to check out Pinterest, because Pinterest definitely is one of those sites where people are doing things around weddings. They're talking about items that they would like to have at their wedding. They're putting up gift registries for their wedding there, things like that. So absolutely go out there and check that out, okay? What I will make available to you is that we will get this nice little screenshot. It's got a flow of the things I'm going to tell you right now, all right? So it'll just help you maybe visualize it a little bit, but it won't be necessary for me to explain the 5 things that I think are important for you to use when finding a customer in social media. All right? So here is the first thing I say to look for, and that would be your own customer survey. If you want to find out where your customers are talking about your products, the first place to look is right where you already have customers. So you go and you ask your current customers, hey, let me give you a 2, 3, 5 question survey after they have, completed a purchase with you. It could be your follow-up survey saying, things that everything go well with your purchase. Would you purchase from us again? What didn't you like? And then the other thing I would ask would be, hey, what social networks do you participate in? And if you're really friendly with them, I would go ahead and ask them, what's your Facebook ID or what's your Twitter ID so that we can follow you. All right, what that's going to do is that's going to engage your customer. All right, how am I engaging my customer? Well, first I'm finding out if everything's okay with them. Are you okay? How's things doing? Or how's things going? I'm asking them that. How did it go with our transaction? Then after that, I'm asking them a question that might be interesting for them to answer with, like, well, what did you like? What didn't you like? And then I go for the real thing that I'm looking for, which is, how can I follow you on social media? I wouldn't just jump up and just ask all my customers that question first. I would give them a little bit of value, which is, getting the feedback from them, letting them know that I give a crap about the things they have to say, and then I ask them about, hey, how can I follow you? Here's how you can follow me. These kind of things. So that would be my first things. Cool tools for doing that. I mean, one tool that I absolutely love, and it's absolutely free, that's why I kind of love it, is SurveyMonkey. And then there's another one called PollDaddy. All right, SurveyMonkey or PollDaddy. You can use either one of those two, or just look around on the web if you've got a survey marketing tool. I think some of the email marketing tools that are similar to SurveyMonkey have them. I know iContact has one. I'm sure Constant Contact has one. And that is a good way to just do automatic, almost, follow-up from customers as you enter them into your email system. Okay? So make sure that's one of the questions on your survey. The next one I like, and I think anybody that's in business online, and let me just make something perfectly clear. I'm giving you things, we call this e-commerce. And e-commerce is really about selling something online, right? So I don't care if it's actual hard goods or if you're selling training or some soft good kind of thing, it doesn't matter. These should work pretty much for everything and cover any area of your business, all right? No matter what industry you're in, these are just some overreaching things that everybody can get involved in. So Google Analytics. You got to have some kind of way to measure when people come into your site, right? So what analytics does, and you can get to that by going to analytics.google.com, all right? Or you can get the Google Webmaster Tools, and you get those and you put them on your site, and it will tell you where people are coming from. And Google now has even broken it out inside of their analytics, where it's the social part of your analytics, and it's telling you where people are actually finding you from, how many links and click-throughs they go through on your page, where they're exiting your page. These kind of things are good information to have, all right? So my second place is Google Analytics. So we've got customer survey, just asking the customers, and then Google Analytics, which will actually track where people are visiting. They might not even be customers, but they will come into your site and you'll be able to see. Why is this fantastic? Because let's say you are driving people to a landing page, right? You'll bring somebody up and you'll drop them inside of a landing page, and then all of a sudden, are they just jumping out and leaving your landing page? That's not something you really want to do. You don't want to have them just coming to your site, puking, and leave. You want them to hang around. So one of the things that I tell people is that you need to have analytics on the page, because what's happening oftentimes is people will come to me and they say, well, John, we've been trying social media and it's just not working, and I'm like, well, maybe it's not social media that's not working. It could be people are coming to your site and they don't like what they see. So you got to make sure that you're always looking to see if people are just coming to this page and leaving. If they're doing that, maybe there's something on that page that's really not engaging them. It's not grabbing them, So I think analytics are a great way to do that, to see where people are coming from and what they are doing on your site. Cool? Cool. All right. The next one I love are blog post responses. Now, think about this, guys. I'm not talking about the blog, your blog, necessarily. Of course, we start with your blog, but let's say your blog doesn't have a whole lot of traffic, and every time you post something, nobody makes any comments. Fine. There's other places to go. How about some of the competitors' blogs? How about blogs that are really highly traveled by other people that have got a whole lot of comments in them? You can actually go through those comments, and sometimes you can do some detective work to find out where those people are in social networks. It's really simple, especially if they're using stuff like Discuss as their, plugin for a blog. You can actually see where people are actually at on social networks. So that's another good place. Go around and look at some of the blog responses on other competitor blogs to see what their customers are talking about, and also possibly finding out where you can contact or be in the conversation. I don't even want to say contact. I don't believe you should just openly contact people, but I believe you should get into conversations about products, brands, and things like that. And you can do that on other people's sites. Sometimes even I get into the mode where I'll post something that's a great, topical blog post. Other people will end up having conversations around that blog post right inside of my blog. They're not marketing to people or anything, but they're actually answering those people's questions. So those are fantastic places to hang out, and especially on sites like Tumblr, where it's really interactive, you can find a lot of people that will follow you and that are relevant to your business, your brand, or something that's important to you, or the way you do business. All right? So blog post responses. The next one is Google Alerts. Man, I think Google Alerts, I call it the granddaddy of social monitoring. And the reason why I call it that is because it's been out, I don't know how long. It's been out so long that it's kind of dusty. Google Alerts have been around forever. And all it really is it goes out, and I guess the best way to explain it is that it will go out to Google based on your keyword term or your topic, or your keyword phrase, and you can create an alert, and it will go out there and poll Google, and when it actually sees that come up and it starts registering in Google, then it will take that and it will send you an alert to your email. And you can set up the alert to be daily, monthly, weekly, however frequency you want it. You can set that up. It's an absolutely free tool. You get to that one by going to alerts.google.com, or just go into any Google search and say Google Alerts. It'll come up as the first thing on the list of results. Really, really killer tool, because now I use that a lot for engaging with people around, like we were saying, in blog posts. I can actually see if somebody else has blogged about something that is relevant to our product or our brands, and then I can join in that conversation, or at least, get a look at what's going on in our industry. But another really kind of cool thing is I take that and I will make up a list of some of the questions that other people are having or asking in some of those blog responses, and I will make content around that question. Because I know if one person's asking that question, maybe somewhere else on a blog, then that is a good candidate, possibly, for me to make a blog post. So you don't have to always make stuff up in terms of how to get stuff to blog about, or how to, make up a good content for your Facebook page or whatever. You can actually just answer other people's questions, turn that into a nice blog post, and all of a sudden, boom, you've got great content that people want and need. All right? And how do you do that again? Google Alerts. Google Alerts will tell you anytime that Google finds new content based on your keyword search. Now, another kind of cool thing I like about alerts, and this is a little off topic, but make sure you put alerts in for your own stuff, for your own brand, for your own URL, because you want to know anytime that somebody is actually talking about you specifically, or your brand specifically, or your company specifically. And that way, let's say somebody made recently, I just had somebody I don't know had seen something, from Colder Ice, and made a comment about, and it was a positive comment, and he put colderice.com in and said, go check it out. And I went out there and I was like, wow, that was so cool. I went and thanked him for that, but I never would have known that that person had wrote a blog post about us had I not had Google Alerts set up. So that's why I think Google Alerts are a fantastic tool. And finally, and this, another granddaddy, these two are granddaddies, forums and discussions. Forums and discussion groups are not going away. Matter of fact, they are every bit as vibrant as they were a long time ago. Some of these have moved to new platforms, because you'll see some people right now, they'll have groups in Facebook, right? Yeah, I got a Facebook group. All right. Or I'm people are talking on my Facebook wall about our brands. So, I mean, it's still the same concept. People like forums and discussion groups, but there's still those old school ones that are out there. We sell shoelaces. One of the things that I found was that there was a whole site that is totally specifically around, not shoelaces, they were actually around the love of tennis shoes. There are a lot of forums where people talk about tennis shoes, sneakers, sneaker forums. I didn't even know they existed. I just did a search online to find out. I put in sneaker and I put the word forum. And then, boom, here's a list of forums that people are talking about sneakers in. Bang. Another way to find the conversation. Remember, that's really all you're trying to do is find out where people are talking. Once you find out where they're talking, what's the next thing you want to do? Nope, it's not talk. It's like, no, you want to listen. You want to listen. You want to see what they're talking about. You want to get some of the lingo that might be around what they are talking about. I remember back in the day, we used to do the eBay thing, and eBay was full of discussion groups. And you get into the discussion group, and these people would have all of these acronyms, for BIN, buy it new, or what is it? No, NIB, new in bots. I didn't know what that meant until I started going out on these forums, and people would say NIB, and what is, and then I looked it up, found out what their lingo was, and there was a whole page for all the lingo for all the people that were eBay sellers. I figured that out. There's lingo for, I didn't realize, and look, I'm an old man. I'm old. I'm Methuselah? Whatever. Anyway, I'm old. So the deal is when it came to what we sell, a lot of it is very youth oriented. And when I started the company 10 years ago, I was a little bit younger. And so I was a little bit closer to the street lingo. But today I'm not. How do I get up so that I can make the right kind of content that would actually be engaging to this new network of people in their lingo? Was by reading the things that they would post in their forums. So I really want to stress that before you start chattering away because you found some place to go market and you just want to spit up on everybody because you've got a 10% off coupon. Blech! They don't care about that. They're not here just to hear you market about your business. That's not why they put it up. It wasn't a forum like, come over here and spit up on me because you got something on sale. Blech! They don't want that. They want engagement. That's why they're there. They want to be able to communicate one with another, and you have to become part of that community in order to be successful. Period. I don't care what anybody else tells you. You can read 150 right now. If you go out there and just say how to social media on Google, you'll probably get somewhere around 20 million results. 20 million results. And they'll all have these little things about, oh, you need to do this, and here's a secret for that. And it just is, the reality of it is, what you need to do is simply be engaging with them, and they will come back to you because they're looking for, somebody said you're frozen. Can you hear me? I think I'm back now. I should be back. Okay, got me back. All right, so just remember that, guys. These people are actually out there looking for engagement. They're looking for people that can help them. They got questions. And if you're that person, you become, all of a sudden, the expert in that field. Okay? I know I'm rattling. I'm sorry. So, do you guys have any questions for me that I can really address? If you do, all you have to do is go out there to the chat. I see Richard Bird. Thank you, sir. Always good stuff. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. All right. I see Chris TQ. How are you, sir? I see Rebecca. She's out there. So, I mean, guys, if you have anything, feel free. I can actually see the chat. So if you've got something to say or you've got something to ask, holler at your boy. So now what I'm going to do, you're not going to hear me. You're not going to hear me. Okay? I just want you to know I'm going to share something on the screen real quick. All right? I see your question, Mark. I'll get right to you. I'm going to share this on the screen just so if you were taking notes and you want to look at what I was just talking about, here's a good graphic of it. All right? So I'm going to share that with you real fast. Like I said, the volume's going down. Listen, people, the volume's going down. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm just going to show you the screenshot. Okay, that was cool. Yeah, I did that so I could take a drink and belch so you wouldn't hear me. Isn't that cool? I mean, yeah, Chris, I know. You're not supposed to hear me on the screenshot right there. When I put the screen on, for some reason, the volume goes out. But I wanted you to see it. And like I said, I will make these slides available to you guys, okay? So at the end of this, just I'll tell you how to get it. If I don't tell you how to get it. Actually, let's do this. Let me do this. All right, here's my email address. All right, it's John, John, at Colder Ice. If you want it, email me there. Oh, it says, okay, I can't, John at. All right, it's telling me I can't put email address or URLs. So it's John at colderice.com, or it's going to actually, all of this stuff, the recording and the slides, we're going to make available to you online at the Thinking Forward website. Okay, so those are the two places it's going to be, and I guess most of you are already there. All right, so let's see. Great info on how to keep yourself in the know. Thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate it. Richard, do you use Google Reader in your strategy? Absolutely, absolutely. I love Google Reader, and there's a couple of reasons why I love Google Reader, but one of the main reasons why I love it is because it easily allows me to get sites that I like and then put them into that reader, and then, of course, these, what's that little thing? This thing. This is how I stay busy a lot of times. This is how I stay in the know on your cell phone. So I like it for this. And Google Reader, I put the stuff in the reader. And let me see if I can find this. Let's see. So, because like I said, this is live, and we can do this kind of live stuff. I can actually show you stuff. It's got a good interface. It's called Flipbook. How many of you guys have Flipbook? Well, oh, it's not Flipbook, it's Flipboard. Huh. Anyway, here it is. Can you see that? Yeah, you can barely see it. Wait till it kind of... I got to get the glare off of it. But anyway, here's the cool thing about Flipboard, right? This is my Google Reader. It's got pictures, and it makes it into like a magazine based on the things that I put in my Google Reader. And then look, they call it Flip because I can flip back and forth to all these stories. And then once I see something I want to read, I can just read it. And then I can take it and I can actually share it from there. So I like that. That's called Flipboard. Flipboard. All right? Fantastic one. Thank you, Richard, for that question. Let's see who we got. We got Mark. How do I determine what my product's target demographic is? How do I determine what my product's demographic is? Have you sold any of the product? If you've sold any of the product, then you've already got demographic data based on your customer base. If you have not sold any of the product, you're going to have to do that research yourself. You're going to have to go out there, man, and you're just really going to have to do some market research, you know, and that's part of market research. It's a whole nother area. But, of course, like we're talking about in these kind of places like forums and discussions, it'll give you some insight into people who use different products. And I'll give you an example. For me, how I find that data inside of my own customer data. If you're not doing surveys at the end of the transaction, you really should. All right. For one, you kind of make it very light and airy. It's like, thank you. It should be part of your thanks, and here's, we'd love your input kind of thing. All right. So that doesn't come off as spammy. But one of those, if any question that you have, something similar to, demographic information, 18 to 24, what area of the country are you in, those kind of little things, you can actually get that information just by asking them. And some will, do it. I found that like 70% of my people that buy from us end up answering the survey at some point in the, down the line. Whether, if there are multiple repeats, they'll answer it. But you'll get some answers, and you can take that data and start, instead of making total assumptions, you'll have some insight. The other way you can do that, of course, is setting up Google Analytics. Having those analytics will actually tell you demographic information based on visitors to your site. So, I think those are great places to go and get that kind of information, because it's really important information to have. All right? I hope that helps, but it's not, it's not easy. It's not like, oh, we're just going to find out who's doing what. It's going to take some market research, definitely. All right? I think I had one more question. Okay, screen share looks great. Cool. All right. So, at any rate, if you got any questions, keep coming over here. Come on over here if you got a question. I'm ready to answer it. If not, I'm going to answer this other question, okay? Because I got a sheet here with some questions, and a couple of them were good. A couple of them were really good, okay? How can I get more fans and followers on my page? Really? Do you have all afternoon? If you do, I can tell you. Or if you just want to pay me, I can tell you really fast. It's like, no, I'm teasing. Here's the deal. That's such a generic question, and businesses are all different. So it does require some background information, but let me give you a couple of generic answers for how to get people to follow you. Number one, here's the best way to get followers. Follow. If you follow somebody, they're going to follow you back. Matter of fact, the follow back ratio is about 65%. So that means for every 10 people you follow, 6.5 of them will automatically follow you back. How about that? That's on Twitter. Now on Facebook it's a little bit lower, because Facebook is all about friends, and you want to get people to like you on your page to be able to follow you or follow your page. But on Twitter, it's freaking simple. All you have to do is follow people, and they'll follow you back, okay? So that's pretty cool. All right, so that hopefully, Tom, that answers your question. And then let's see. Oh, I got this one. Is it better to have a branded social media profile, or is it better to market your business with my personal profile since I already have a lot of friends? That's a great question. And it's kind of, it depends. If you're an Avon salesperson, then they already know about the brand Avon, don't they? So they're following you because you are that person. However, on these social sites, I really believe that it's best to have a brand with a personality. You feel me? So create the site with your brand so they know that this is really a commercial site, but then use your personality. Be you when you speak on that site. And another thing is, you can have multiple people that speak with different voices inside of your company. And I've seen people actually do that. One of my favorites are the guys at Cabbage. That Cabbage with a K. These are some guys that actually have a really cool way of dealing with their brands on these different sites. They have sites set up, or they have personal profiles set up that start with Cabbage and then that person's name. So like Cabbage Lauren. So you know that when they're speaking on the Cabbage site, you're getting a different voice. It's Lauren talking this time versus when Mike might talk or when somebody else, but you can see who they are and how they're talking by their name in those social spaces. So it's Cabbage and the person's name. So it can be your brand or your business and the person's name if you've got multiple people speaking. What that enables you to do is be a brand with a personality, and that's what people are looking for. Okay, that's what customers are looking for. They want a brand that they can interact with, and you can't interact really with a corporation, but you can interact with the people in that corporation. So keep that in mind, that it's pretty much important. Here's another question. Are there any other analytics sites or apps you would recommend? Let me think. Some analytics sites. I mean, it depends. I've got a Yahoo store. All right, that's my e-commerce platform. And the interesting thing is that Yahoo itself has its own analytics. And I found out that Yahoo Analytics is better for me in my store because we're on the Yahoo platform. It does real-time analytics versus Google, which is a little bit delayed analytics. And it's a little bit different. Here's the key, guys. I want to make this very, very clear, okay? If your speedometer works, it doesn't matter if it's accurate, as long as you can tell whether it's going up or down. So I don't think there's one tool that's better than the other. What I do think is that you got to get with the tool, make sure you know how to use the tool, and then use that tool right. Because if you do anything else, it will confuse you. You know, there's this saying, I got a little bitty watch here, and then I got a big watch somewhere else. I can't find it. But they say a man with two watches never knows the time. So a lot of us get confused by having too many things trying to measure one thing. You shouldn't have multiple tools measuring one thing. You need to get the tool you like and baseline it and move up or down from there. Because if you have multiple tools, one might say it's moving forward, other one might say it's moving back. You don't know what the hell to do and you're confused. The confusion comes from being that man with two watches. All right? Don't have more than one watch. One watch. Cool? Hope that helps. Touch on Pinterest. Do you think it's effective means of promotion? Do you know what? Dude, absolutely, Pinterest is an effective means for promotion for those who find it effective. Look, just because somebody writes a story and says, hey, 70% of the traffic comes from Pinterest and Pinterest rocks and I just love Pinterest, doesn't mean it's going to work for you. Doesn't mean it's going to work for you. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to test it. You're going to have to see if people respond to your Pinterest page. Personally, I'm not a big Pinterest user. I got a page out there. People follow it. I put stuff up there. However, it's just not necessarily my thing. You know, I got to really find where people are going to engage with me the most. For me, it's on Facebook. For somebody else, if you asked me 2 years ago, it was on Twitter. You know, so it definitely fluctuates a lot. But there is some serious numbers coming out from such a brand new platform like Pinterest. And for the e-commerce side, I've seen it both ways, people. I've seen it where one business will say, we get most of our business and most of our carts and conversion are coming from Twitter, you know? And then somebody else might say it's from Facebook and somebody else might say it's from Pinterest. So, I mean, definitely it's worth checking out. Go out there, test it, see if it works for you. Give it a little bit of time. I mean, you don't have to go overboard. But I definitely think it's something worth looking at. And if you are catering to women, it's definitely something you want to look at. You know, if you've got furniture, clothing, jewelry, you know, a lot of the women are on that site. It's like, I've seen stats, 80 to 90% of the daily traffic is done by women. Amazing, right? So somewhere between 70 and 90%. So, I mean, if you're in that market for them, I would definitely check it out. Let's see. Are there any other? Yeah, I did that one. Do you use analytic results from Pinterest? Results of such. Do you use analytic results from Pinterest? We do get, I mean, it does, the analytics will tell you if people are coming to your site from Pinterest. So that will give you a gauge on how much time you would spend. I mean, if you're looking out there and you're saying, man, I'm putting out all these things, and this is something you want to do. I mean, you want to be broad. When you post something on your blog post, you want to be able to post it easily on Twitter, You want to post it easily on Facebook. You want to post it easily on Pinterest and maybe some of the other sites. How do you do that? You get a plugin. All right? You've seen the plugins. I wish I could talk, but I can't. So I'm going to try something else. But next time, I guarantee you, we'll make sure that the talk part works. So look, I'm going to show you something. Let me find it first here on my site. If I go to Colder Ice and I go to the blog, I'm going to show you my blog real fast, and then I'm going to talk about it. So first I got to show it to you, then I got to talk to you about it, just because I can't talk and show at the same time. All right? So I'm going to do this first. Let me get to the one I want. Yeah, I like that one. That'll work. All right. So I'm going to show it to you. This is just a post from my blog, and then I'm going to talk to you about it. All right? So here we go. Okay, so nothing spectacular. I know you didn't see anything, but I just want to show you what you did notice. What you did notice is right at the top, there are these little buttons for sharing. Okay? Those buttons are great for people to share what you do on those platforms. So if you write a blog post, it allows other people to share it using those buttons. Great. Who cares? Guess what I use them for? And what's the best way to use them is after I post something to the blog, I push the buttons and I can automatically share it everywhere. Really killer tactic right there. All right? So instead of going around and trying to find out all these people, they'll say, well, this is where you can share it. We got this great tool and you just have to pay $39 a month. Well, really? All I need is the daggone button and I'll share it myself because it only takes about 30 seconds each platform. Perfect idea, isn't it? So use those buttons that you already have on your front page and use those buttons so that it makes it easy for you to share it on multiple platforms as you post. That's a great tip. I mean, I use that all the time. Matter of fact, when I have people that are working with me on the site, I tell them to push the button. I don't have to teach them anything else. It's like, look, post this post, then push the share buttons, and make sure it goes to all 3 or 4 sites that I want it to go to. Killer. All right. Do you use any analytic tools to check for conversion? Yes, Google Analytics will check for conversion. You've got to set that up. All the tools you want for tracking to your website for conversion are in your analytics package. That's where you want to put it because that analytics package has that code that sits on your cart page that will tell you here's where it came from and here's whether or not it converted. So you need to set up your analytics all the way in to your cart page. And when you have that tracking cookie, you're able to find out if people are actually converting from where they're coming from. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit more technical, but it's out there. Google Analytics, use it, or any of your other analytics tools. I've got several that I do like. I'm trying to think of the one that I really like, and I know it's I just lost it. Oh well. Let me see. This is live, people. We live. You can tell. So I'm over here. I'm looking at my mail because it always comes into my mail, and I'll be able to tell you which one that I really do like. That comes in on the and it's good for people that use their sites for e-commerce. This is an e-commerce measure that I really do like, and it's Spring Metrics. Spring Metrics. That gives you some deep insight once people come in through, and it uses Google. It sits on top of their Google Analytics, and it adds a couple of extra functionalities. But it's a real easy to read and easy to use platform, so you might want to check that out. Okay? Any more questions? If not, I got a couple more we can get to. I'm looking at the clock. It looks like we got about 15 minutes left. I hope this has been good for you. Like I said, we want to really give the thanks to Dymo and Disha for putting this together and setting this all up. You can find out more about this by going to Thinking Forward. And this is going to be a 6-series event. This is the first of the series. I'm going to do 3. And my friend Marsha Collier, she's an e-commerce expert. She's the queen. She's written about 150,000 books on different... She writes all the time. And she's really a great resource. So the next one she's going to be doing, then I think I'm coming back and doing another one. You definitely want to put this on your schedule as something that you can do. And I love the fact that it's live. You know, it's just, I think that gives it a little bit extra flavor. And here's the cool part is I'm not using a bunch of crappy slides that'll put you to sleep. I can't. It's like, no. I didn't even have any slides. I had this couple of things. So let me give you tools to use, a couple of tools. That, because we're talking about finding. I mean, the actual thing we're talking about is finding in social. So let me give you a couple of tools to use, and these we haven't even mentioned before, so that's kind of cool. All right. So the first tool is Hootsuite. Hootsuite. I'm going to type it in and just put a .com on it. Hoot, S-U-I-T-E. Hootsuite. All right. That's my first tool. Hootsuite is a web-based dashboard that allows you to monitor multiple social sites all in one place. It's really kind of cool. It gives you almost like a Twitter feed for all your other sites too. The Twitter, the Facebook, the LinkedIn. It's in a nice feed. It comes in a nice dashboard. And I love Hootsuite. Been using that since it was a baby. I mean, I think I was in beta. I was in beta for this one. So it's not gotten worse. It's only gotten better and better and better. So Hootsuite, that's your first tool. All right. The second tool, Tweet Reach. All right. Tweet Reach. I put it in there. Tweet Reach is a social analytics tool that helps you capture valuable information. So it gives you some analytics from the social perspective. Okay, it's not analytics like you're talking about from your website, but it's social analytics. It's a great tool that you can use. I put it in there, Tweet Reach. If you want to find it, all you got to do is remove the space. So it's tweetreach, one word, .com. Cool? All right. The next one. This one is fabulous. All right. I see you, Richard. I'll get you in just a second. Thank you. Social Mention. All right. Social Mention. It is, wow. Social Mention will pull data from hundreds of social media sites, aggregate that data into one nice little feed, and it'll give you some of the most accurate and real-time information on what's going on around a topic. So I love Social Mention. What you want to do with that, put in your keyword, see what people are saying around it, put in your brand name, put in your name. Check out your girlfriend or boyfriend that you're about to date. I mean, say no, I'm just teasing. But I mean, if he's crazy, somebody's tweeting about it. So. All right, no, seriously. Okay, so Social Mention is a good one. Here's another one we've got for you, and it's called Topsy. Oh, I'm gonna type it right. Topsy. Topsy. All right. Topsy is a real-time social search engine. All right. It sorts through the latest social activity related to your industry, brand, or community. What I would think about Topsy, or the way I think about it is, Topsy's a little more of a Google search for social media. And what's kind of funny is that I've watched over the years how Google has handled social media. Remember at one point they had this thread that would constantly update. They took that away. They didn't like that. So Google is always trying to find ways to search social media. Topsy, I believe, actually out Google's Google when it comes to searching right now for things on social media. Social Mention, like I said, it'll aggregate the data and it's a little different. Topsy is very real time. It's almost like going directly to search.twitter.com to search for different things on different topics, but it'll go across more social networks. So check that one out. And then the last one, before we get into this next question from Richard, is Engage. And this is I'm going to try it. It's ENGAG.io. All right? I know. But it's supposed to be Engagio. and they won't let me put the .io. So I'm just going to type it out. .dotio. All right? You see that? Engage.io. So it's in Engagio. Get that. This is a great tool for managing your conversations across social networks. It helps you engage with people, and it provides you a valuable insight into people who are talking to you or people who you are talking to. All right? So it could tell you also if somebody mentioned you in social media and you didn't respond back. It's got that. It looks almost like Gmail. All right? It's got a Gmail look to it for all of the engagement you're doing in social media. These things are killer, man. These 5 things will change your life. All right? Because it will help you to reduce the amount of time it takes for you to engage across social networking. All right, so that's the next question, actually. Richard asks, what is your daily time investment in social networking and creating new content or products? You asked me personally. I want you to understand this question. He is asking me personally, okay? I have to be honest with you people. I have to be blunt honest with you people. I have a problem. I need help. I am totally addicted to social media. I know I spend too much time there. I know I do. It's a problem. It's a problem for me. But in all reality, when I'm talking to people and I say, how much time can you engage? I really say, how much time do you have available to engage? And then we kind of work backwards into figuring out what you can do. When it comes to social engagement, I really believe that 30 to 40 minutes is all you need to handle what you need to handle. 30 to 40 minutes. How many days a week do you have to do that? That's what you have to tell me. Can you do it 3 days a week? Can you do it all 5 days a week? Can you do it 7 days a week? Right? But what we need from you is at least 30 minutes. And if you got at least 30 minutes, you can get pretty much all the things you need to get done in that amount of time. I know people that will only engage on Monday. And it's fine, because what you end up doing is like, look, if I'm not home, you're not going to come and knocking. So once I tell you, look, I'm only home on Mondays, you're only going to come by on Monday. You're not coming by on Tuesday, because I've trained you to know that I only do it on Monday. So, it can work. You make it work into your schedule. I don't like this crap that other people talk about. You need to spend all day. You need to be actively. You don't. I disagree. That's not. What's happening is now you're letting the tool use you. Now the hammer's beating your ass. Oh, excuse me. But you're not supposed to do that. The tool is supposed to be in your hand, and you use it to drive what you want to drive, and you make the tool work for you. You never work for a tool, ever. If I have to work for the tool, I got a job already. So social media does not need to be a job. Now, how long do I spend actually creating content? I like to create content in advance. On Mondays, I always put out this thing called the Monday morning infographic. Right? And everybody knows that's on my site that John's going to post something about social media or some kind of infographic on Mondays. Guess what? I take one afternoon on a Saturday to make pretty much all of my content for the month. I've got a content calendar. I've got a schedule of the things that I want to talk about. And I'll just start putting that content together on the weekend, or maybe 2-3 hours. Literally, I will spend creating content for an entire month. All right? Now, granted, what I will allow myself is areas inside of that content schedule for me to put, relevant and live content that I might do on that week. But I will spend about 3 hours once a month on a Saturday getting ready for the coming month of content. And that will be content that I can either schedule, which most of the times I'll use the WordPress scheduler, and I'll schedule it in advance. And then if I've got some things on the weekend or some things that just pop up and I think it's really interesting, I'll go ahead and make a new content right there on the fly and post it. But if nothing else, now I've got a content schedule that's going to push out automatically whether I'm here or if I'm over in Italy somewhere. It doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm able to actually post my content. So I kind of like that. All right. Yeah, somebody's laughing at me. That, because I mean, you know what? Yes, people that know me knows, like, you're always on social media. So sounds like you outsource everything except social media. Safe assumption? No, I really don't outsource a whole lot of anything. I really don't. I am I mean, the thing is I do all of my what do you call it? I create all of my ads. I take most of the pictures. Well, I don't take them. My partner takes them. And my partner actually does all the shipping. So we are a two-person workshop right here. But, every once in a while, I do use outsourcing. I've used outsourcing for, spreadsheet creation. I've used outsourcing for product descriptions. I've used outsourcing for customer support. I've used outsourcing for information gathering, for blog post writing. I've used, please, you can outsource a lot of things, but you got to always insource it to make it your own. So I don't really use a whole lot of it, but I definitely will use it when necessary. I'm a little ADD, and that helps. That allows me to do a whole lot of different things at the same time, and of course it hurts, because part of the reason why I think I'm so social media crazy is because of the ADD nature of it in general. All right, so it looks like we've got maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes left. If you've got a question, fantastic, get it out there. If you do not, I've got 3 things I'm going to make available to you. I've told you about the 5 tools. I got a little chart that I did for that. We'll make sure we get that up on the site afterwards. All right, and I got a top 13 list, and I'm going to run this down to you really fast. All right, so this is the last thing we're going to go out of here with in a blaze, and it's just going to take you, forever to even understand what I'm talking about. But I will actually make this available to you. All right, so 13 steps. Number 1, decide the components of your social media plan. Number 2, identify concrete business and marketing goals that you want to achieve with social media. Number 3, plan a timeline of steps to achieve your goal. So first you set the goal, then get the steps to achieve the goal using social media. Number 4, develop a set of realistic expectations. Don't come to me and say, well, we want 5,000 people next week. Yeah, okay. No. Okay. It's got to be realistic, all right? 20 people. I don't know. But it's got to be relevant to what your business is and what you can realistically handle, all right? Number 5, identify 10 social media sites where you want to participate, and then narrow that down, all right? So there might be 10 sites that you find doing all those things that we talked about, how to find people, and then narrow that down to about the top 2 or 3, and then focus. And then if you got more time, start adding in the other ones. All right? That's a great strategy. Don't try to just bite. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So we want to start with the bites. All right? Number 6, determine who your target audience is. 7, search for your target audience, which probably should have been 1, 2, and 3. But either way. Number 8, pay attention to how they communicate. That's what we already talked about. Listen first. Listen first. All right? You got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen first. All right? All right? Pay attention to how they communicate. Number 9, identify their preferred content format. This is fantastic information right here. If you find that most of the stuff that's being posted on the site are pictures and video, guess what? Stop writing blog posts. Grab some pictures and videos. All right? If everything is a blog post, long form text, then your video might not get the engagement that you want. So you really want to determine how the people on these sites like to engage, and how they like to suck in the content, what way that they really respond to your content format. All right, number 10, build rapport in the chosen group. That means answer their questions. Don't be salesy, just be helpful. Don't be salesy, just be helpful. And guaranteed, they'll start asking you, where do you sell? All right? Number 11, tailor your marketing strategy to your audience. That's why we're doing the audience research, so we can tailor our content. You know, if the people are very, very geeky and you didn't know that they were all that geeky, now that you know they're geeky, you can write some more geeky content. You know, it's geeky a word? I think it is now. We have to look that up. All right. So tailor your marketing strategy to your audience. Number 12, build an editorial calendar for your social media management and marketing plan. That's what I've talked about. Nothing fancy. Just use your own calendar software and just say, hey, on the first of the month, I'm going to start doing all the things that I need to do for that month. Have it out there. I'm going to put it out on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and put it around it and make it so it's a nice little mix and start pushing your content on those days. And finally, develop communications that hit the mark. All right? And that really means start getting engaged with your customer. If they're asking questions, if they're starting to do things like you are, then you want to respond. So you put me out a question over here. That's where I'm looking. I respond, and that gives us dialogue. They love dialogue. So Riptide is laughing at me. He said, partner is your outsource. Partnerships are difficult to establish. Trust, absolutely. But once you find a good trusted partner, you don't want to mess up that relationship because, like you said, they're so hard to find. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending. Thanks to everyone who joined the discussion and asked questions today. And thanks to Dymo and Disha for actually setting this thing up. I think it's fantastic. We're going to get any little bug worked out with my sound. I think that was on my PC, and I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to get that part worked out. And the next live chat call will be on Tuesday. Put this down in your calendar. Tuesday, October 16th. And we'll talk about how small businesses and e-commerce businesses can leverage Black Friday and Cyber Monday, which are coming up rapidly quick. These are incredible sales opportunity for online sellers, and they can really help you close out the year very, very strong. So tune in right here at thinkingforward.tumblr.com in 2 weeks, and I look forward to chatting with you guys again. My name is John from Colder Ice, and I'm out of here, guys. Peace. Thanks a lot.